What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be looking at new Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Nick Herbig, fourth-round pick out of Wisconsin. Going to be looking at this Michigan State game from last season to give you guys an idea of what the Steelers are getting as a player, where he excels, maybe some of his weaknesses, some of the things that he'll have to work on at the next level. Just before we get started, please make sure you like the video if you like this type of content and consider subscribing to the channel. All that stuff greatly helps me out, and I appreciate it. All right, let's get started. Nick Herbig, 6'2", 240 pounds, 159, 10-yard split, very evident in his game, 88th percentile, 4.34 outside linebackers, ran a 4.65, 40-yard dash, 25 reps on the bench. The first thing that I think of when I think of Herbig's game is his first step. I mean, he is an electric mover off the line of scrimmage. You'll see that here. He's in a wide 9 alignment, a couple yards outside of this tight end. Immediately, just the get off, no false steps, just rolling off of that front foot. And you see this tackle, he's immediately in chase mode, and this is a difficult assignment for him, a wide 9, but immediately in chase mode. He's having to cross his feet. That's not what he wants to do. But Herbig's immediately able to win that outside shoulder, win the corner, and then just look at the body angle, the flexibility in his lower half through contact to bend and flatten back up the field to get the sack. Good finish on the quarterback, bring him down. This is really all over his tape, man. He is a speed rusher through and through who is a blur off the line of scrimmage. And you'll see really throughout this game, this left tackle has a lot of difficulty hanging with him and protecting his outside shoulder. See another example of it right here. Just the way that he gets off the ball puts tackles in really compromising positions. Just rolling off the ball. He's going to try to, use a little long arm. He's not the longest guy. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But, you like this here, a little ghost move almost, kind of flashing the long arm and then ripping underneath the tackle's arms. And then again, just the bend through contact. The hand usage, you see his right arm kind of swiping at that outside arm of the tackle to get himself free. Flexibility again, flattening the corner. We get a quarterback hit, leads to an incompletion. He was really disruptive in this game. I mean, even on the plays where he didn't necessarily get a sack, he was consistently moving quarterbacks off the spot at the top of their drop. And he, again, just winning with speed. Another kind of ghost move here. Going to act like he's maybe going speed to power, or going to hit this guy with a long arm and then just dip and rip. Again, you see just how comfortable he is, bending through contact. Very nearly gets another sack here. Quarterback just narrowly escapes, ends up rolling out the pocket, throwing the football away. That's another, pressure. Pressures are a good indicator of future success. I say that all the time, but even Herbig, as productive as he was, especially getting after the quarterback, getting in the backfield, I think that, he was consistently disruptive. And that's something that I really appreciated about his game when I scouted him before the NFL draft. Just another outside shoulder rush here. Dip and rip. And then he plays with the type of motor that you're expecting to see from, a Steelers edge rusher. You think about the Steelers and kind of what they stand for, just guys playing with, 100 miles an hour with, just super, intense guys that play to the whistle. This is, what Herbig does. He has a really hot motor that just never seems to stop. You see him draw a penalty here. I like how he sets this rush up, though. This was earlier in the game, but does a good job of kind of chopping his feet a little bit, which gets the offensive tackle a little bit off balance, gets him to stop his feet. And then again, the hand usage gets a little swipe and then dip, rip through contact. And at this point, you can get away with this type of stuff if the offensive tackle is already latched on before, the edge rusher bends, excuse me. But on this one right here, he's already passed him before he really makes significant contact, and that's right in front of the official. That's going to get called every time. So, again, not necessarily something that's going to show up in the box score, but, a penalty, that's still just as good as a sack, really. On this one too, one thing I like about Herbig's game, he's off the screen here because of his alignment being so wide, but he understands how to set offensive tackles up. He is a speed rusher, but if you're going to be a speed rusher and an effective one, especially at the next level, you have to make sure that you have some inside counters. And what Herbig does really well is he can put his foot in the ground and change directions laterally in the blink of an eye. And you see that on this rep, trying to again threaten that outside shoulder of the tackle. And then he gets him turned, and Herbig knows, all right, I have the inside track here, and understanding, where his teammate is as well. He understands that the guard's not going to be able to help just based on the front. No inside help, swim over. Again, move the quarterback off the spot. Unfortunately, he rolls out and finds a wide open receiver. But again, I think Steeler fans are used to seeing this type of inside counter right here. Alex Highsmith, who the Steelers drafted a couple years ago, had a huge season last year, abuses left tackles in the league with this same inside spin move. So again, you see Herbig threatening up the field, the quick get off. You want to make sure that, you're still maintaining speed up the field because you have to make the tackle think that you're, trying to win on the outside. Look at this tight spin move. He has a sack here, in my opinion, and 67 gets away with a trip. I'm surprised that this one didn't get called because the official's looking right at this. 67 kind of sticks his leg out. Watch him. He knows what he's doing here. Kind of loses his balance, I guess. But overall, still a move. That's a win there on that tackle. Running a little stun up front too. But, seeing him, already have those inside counters to his game, that's going to be a really integral part of his transition, especially if he's going to stick at outside linebacker. They did ask him to play in space, spot drop in coverage a little bit, but he's a pretty functional athlete to where he can do some of this stuff. He can play in the flats, he can, spot drop, play the crow hook, play the flats and stuff like that. As an edge rusher, obviously going to have to be able to play the run too. It's not the flashy part of, this position, especially anymore. But one thing that Herbig does is he has a unique way to beat blockers by just being really quick and subtle and sudden to where, he has these quick steps and the ability to shed blockers, even though he's not the biggest guy, he's not the longest guy. So he's not going to overpower people, but he'll use his quickness to slip in between gaps, to shoot into the backfield. You see another example of it right here. This tight end's trying to come out and get in. Watch him shoot his hands, get inside, swim over, and then force his cutback back to his help. We get a nice little run stop right there out of it. We'll talk a little bit more about Herbig's length as it pertains to his pass rushing ability as well. But one thing I like, even though he doesn't necessarily have the longest arms, he's pretty much in the 0 percentile for edge rusher arm length, which is why a lot of people speculated about a position change. I do like how, he does show the ability with the lower body strength. He's not just going to get completely pushed around, I don't think, at the next level, even if I don't think he's going to be a stout run defender. But I like here how he shows some extension. You see the full arm extension to be able to set the edge and turn this running back on this wide zone back to the inside to his help. You see another Steeler, second round pick, Keanu Benton, right here, flowing laterally to the football as well. So, again, just you notice the first step and the lateral agility just to flow to the football. Again, he's not going to beat guys necessarily with power. He sheds blocks well, I think, for his size, better than you'd expect. But this is what he's going to do, man. Like, he's going to beat guys off the line of scrimmage with that first step, shoot into the backfield, and then make the play. This dude, like, if you look at just like the box score numbers, man, he lived in the backfield. And that's something that I, really, really appreciate about his game, is just how disruptive he was. I want to talk a little bit about, some things that I'm just concerned about or have questions about. And it's really, what is he going to do at the NFL level as a pass rusher when offensive tackles are athletic enough to take away the outside shoulder? There's nothing wrong with just being a speed rusher. I mean, it's hard to be an elite pass rusher if you only have speed moves, but you can be a good pass rusher at the next level as a speed rusher, but you have to be either A, extremely tight and good about setting up your counters, or you have to have some form of ability to threaten tackles with speed to power. And this is a good example here, rushing off the left side, rolling off that left foot. I like too how he can rush from both sides of the line. That's something that I really appreciate because if you're going to be a backup at first, like he will be next season, coming and playing off both sides is, something that not all edge rushers can do. But you see how he gets this offensive tackle in chase mode. He's got his shoulders turned. Your best pass rushers, whether it be in this class or in the NFL, at this point, they're going to put that right arm and they are going to jam it through the center of this offensive tackle and convert speed to power into the quarterback. And you'll see him try to do this sometimes, even when he is able to make first contact with the offensive tackle, but he just doesn't really have enough oomph behind him, that lower body strength to drive his feet and move guys with any sort of power. Like anytime you see him go speed to power, this is something I noted in my pre-draft profile with him. He just kind of dies off, and he plays hard. It's not that he just gives up on the rush, but it's just not gonna be. I don't think that he did it. He converted speed to power well in college, and I don't think he's gonna be able to do that at the next level either. So again, I'm not saying that he can't be productive. I think it does limit a little bit of his upside because at the next level, when your offensive tackles are bigger, more athletic, stronger, they're going to be able to protect that outside shoulder better than some of these offensive tackles in college where you can just out athlete them and beat them to the outside. Um, so just something to keep an eye on there as it pertains. We'll see, if he's able to get stronger. I know he's put on a little bit of weight before the combine. I don't think he was playing at 240 if I had to guess last year for Wisconsin. One of the things too that I wanted to mention, he's a little wound up in space, even though I think he moves really well. He's a good athlete, but there was some missed tackles on film. I think he had like a 15% missed tackle rate last year, which was one of the concerns I had too about a guy that we're potentially talking about moving to off-ball linebacker, depending on the scheme that he went to. These missed tackles and stuff, just not breaking down, not being in control, staying square, overrunning the play. And we go from, having a guy dead to rights in the backfield or near the line of scrimmage to, where he's able to get a productive play out of it. See another example of that here. His teammates kind of help him out, but just dropping in coverage, he's got experience doing that, and that's nice. But, if you play zone coverage, you really want to force these check down throws, come up and make the tackle, kind of dives at the legs, misses the tackle there. But overall, I'm interested to see, how the Steelers deploy him. If he sticks at edge rusher, like I said, the 31-inch arms are, I mean, it's 0 percentile for edge rushers in the league. So he's going to be a historical outlier in that regard. So we'll see how he's able to work around that. But I do think that he has some off-ball linebacker potential. So maybe he is a tweener. Maybe he plays a little bit of off-ball linebacker and rushes the passer. Because on passing downs, if he's still this electric speed rusher, he can still provide a good amount of value there, and maybe his length, especially against the run, is a little more minimized in that phase of the game. But I'm interested to see how he develops, getting to be around TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. Both of those guys, have a very distinct set of moves. TJ with the ghost and the cross chop. The cross chop isn't something that is really in Herbig's game that I remember. I'll have to go back and watch some more tape, but I'm interested to see if he incorporates that. And then Alex, helping him tighten up that inside counter, that spin move, which I think could make Herbig, his game, go to an even higher level if he continues to work on that. But the pass rush plan's there. The electric first step is there. This is a very unique pick. Herbig was, I think, he was top 80 on my big board, and the Steelers were able to get him at the very end of the 4th round. So nice selection. I like the value, the scheme fit. The familiarities there with the Wisconsin front. They run a very similar defense. That's why they've got Loudermilk and Watt, and now Keanu Benton and Herbig. It's just an easy transition for those guys. But If you guys stayed the whole video, I appreciate you guys. Please consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel if this type of content is up your alley. And I will be back next time with some more NFL draft videos. Appreciate you guys. Peace.